Yes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And sorry about the technical delays. And let's start our presentation today for the latihan industry. Okay. Number one, there are two parts of your presentation. Part one is what you did
Full.
or what you have done, and what you learned from there. And part two is your mini thesis, or paper or what. Then the Q&A. Okay, let's start.
Internship report. Mini research.
Okay, start.
Okay, I will start, Doctor.
Mm.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Shukri as my academic supervisor and Encik Haji Awang Jaafar as my internship supervisor. My presentation today consists of two parts, which is the first part is internship report and the second is mini research. I will begin the presentation with my internship report. Before that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Asniawati binti Awang. My matrix number A1763886. Currently, I am. Hello. Can I continue? Ada. Hello, doctor. Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Continue, continue. Yes, please continue.
Okay. Currently, I will continue, doctor. Currently, I am a final year student at University Kebangsaan Malaysia in field of economic, majoring in Islamic economic. The duration of our industrial training is 4 months from 21 March until 21 July, which is tomorrow. For the Department of Internship Placement, it will be all unit, including administration, employment insurance system, enforcement, return to work, benefit and recovery, and the last one is finance. There are three internship objectives. There are three internship objectives, which is the first one, expose students to the working environment per their field of specialization. Can you hear me, Aini?
Yes. Yes.
Doctor, I'm speaking.
Doctor, she is presenting right now.
Please continue. Nothing wrong. Please continue. There's nothing wrong with me.
Hello,
I
doctor.
can hear you. I can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you. Please continue. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. For ah, okay. So for the last internship objective is to polish students' soft skills such as communication, leadership, teamwork, and so on. Next, I will explain to you the background of SOCSO, which is the abbreviation of Social Security Organization. SOCSO was established as one of the government department under the Ministry of Human Resources to administer, implement, and enforce the Employees Social Security Act 1969 and the Employees Social Security Regulation 1971. SOCSO mission is to be the outstanding, comprehensive, and dynamic leader in social security, while the vision is to provide comprehensive social security protection from cradle to the grave for the well-being of all. The tagline used by SOCSO is "Perkeso itu prihatin, prihatin itu perkeso." This is the organization chart where we can see here the director of SOCSO Sabah is Dr. Muhammad Ali bin Hindia and other officers working under SOCSO Sabah. Next, I will describe to you the organization core activity. For the general core activity is registration for employers and employees, collecting of contribution from employees, and making payment for benefit to workers and or their dependent when tragedy strike. Each department has their own respective tasks. For administration, they will supervise customer service, scheduling of main counter service or peak hours supervisor. Next, for employment insurance system, they will regulate SIP program at the respective zone level and counseling, monitoring, and related program. Next is to regulate the RTW program and management matters. Next, for enforcement, they will focus on enforcement activities of Act 4, Act 700, 789, and Act 800, and monitoring all the inspection activities and quality as well as operational work processes SOP are complied with. Next, in benefit and recovery, they will regulate and ensure all processing of benefit claim for Social Security Scheme, Act 4 and Act 789. The last department is finance, which they will regulate, monitor, and ensure maintenance related to accounting or any financial activities. Now moving on to the next slide, which is the organizational work structure or the work culture that practice in SOCSO. The first one is S4P, which S4 means senyum, sapa, salam, and santun, while P is prihatin. This is done by all SOCSO employees, especially when serving customers who come to visit SOCSO office or for those who make phone call. Next is patriotic values among employees. This can also be noticed that before all workers do their tasks in the morning, the national anthem and the SOCSO anthem are played first, followed by prayer recitation. This culture show patriotic values in the employees and the pray to God for blessing and the task they do. The last one is the culture of giving to each other or giving alms is widely practiced in SOCSO, especially giving each other food. This culture will directly strengthen the relationship between employees and citizens that create a positive environment in SOCSO Sabah. Next, I will explain about the advantages of the organization. The first advantage that I can see here is there's have a complete facility where each employee will be given a laptop, and they are also provided internet access for free, as almost of their work requires internet data or online. In addition, there will facilities such as table, chairs, meeting room, restroom, and elevators are also provided at the workplace. This will affect the way they work, such as becoming more productive and effective. The second advantage is hygienic workplace. Every morning, the cleaning worker would sweep the floor, clean and mop the workers' decks. This helps prevent workers from getting sick or having any health problem due to the workplace being constantly clean. Next is, like I mentioned before, practice high spiritual and patriotic spirit. In addition, in Sokso Sabah has a positive environment. This is because each employees share core value including respect, kindness, patience, and acceptance of each other. This can be seen the way they interact with each other and the way they communicate well and always work together in any situation. The last one is Sokso is strategically located. Sokso building is located at the center of the city that it is easy for people to visit. Public facility are also easily available, such as bank, post office, health clinic, shopping malls around the building. For the advantages, the first one is based on my observation, there is no specific system for interns. A schedule work given in benefit and recovery section is just stamping form and helping officer compile files and make copies. Next disadvantage is shortage of employees in certain divisions such as benefit and recovery and finance department. The lack of employees in certain division cause delays in processing the cases of insured person, and the claim also will be delayed. For finance unit, there is too many files that need to be organized. So there's only one employee does this all work, and it make the files cannot manage properly. That's all for the disadvantage. Next, I will explain to you the learning outcome that I get from during this industrial internship. For administration, I had learned about customer service, such as how to respond to phone calls from Sokso customer and learn ethics when answering the phone. I also learn about SE system and practice them using them to locate insured person information. Next, I also help organize administrative files for data storage, and I had a opportunity to learn about G-asset system and practice using them to fill in information about asset Sokso Sabah. Lastly, I helped manage letter and that needed to be sent to insured person or any interested parties. For employment system, here the task I do here is I made phone calls to the insured person to ask whether they are still interested in following the Job Research Allowance (GSA) program or other scheme provided under Eis Unit. I also made call for a candidate who is eligible to attend interview and ask if they are still interested or not. I also got opportunity to attend a career gig program as a registration assistant. This program is organized at SICC Sabah and it's open for everyone. I'm sorry, Doctor. Wait. Okay, I will continue my presentation. I also got opportunity to learn about benefit and scheme available under EIS, and also learn about system used by the employees such as my future job, early employment allowance, training fee, training allowance, and reduced income allowance. Next, for enforcement, here I learned about the system used to register employers and employees. I also learned how to calculate the insured person contribution and reviewing and correcting the insured contribution whether unpaid or overpaid. Last, I got the opportunity to learn how to assist new insured person in making online contribution using SOXO apps and the Matrix website. In return to work, I most of the tasks I do is follow the RTW teams, visit insured person who cases and who cases are managed by RTW unit. I also went to insured person to do CSR under SOXO for festivals such as Eid celebration or harvest, or we call as Keamatan. Last, I also had an opportunity to visiting a hospital patient to take an initial assessment to determine whether the patient is eligible to claim SOXO benefit or not. Now, the task that I've done in benefit and recovery is I went to insured person to do CSR, same as the RTW unit, and I also helped to stamp form, especially COVID claim form, help organize file and learn about SICAP system. The final department is finance, and here I help organize file, help organize payment voucher, and fill in information needed in the voucher. And the last one, I learned how to punch a payment voucher using a various machine. Next, I will explain about the internship objective that I have achieved. The first objective that I got to learn is the real work culture in organization. This can be seen when I feel for myself the way I do the job carefully and need to follow the real procedure. Next, in term of time management, it can also train me to adhere to the time that has been set while working and need to be inculcated in the work culture. Besides that, I also learned how to use critical organizational system, portal, and machine. This has enhanced my technological knowledge in the use of an organization website and portal. In addition, I also able to learn some of the function of the machine that I use in organization that I had never used before. Uh, Lastly, I do learn about the important values that must be present in a worker, such as group cooperation, leadership, work ethic, communication skill, and information management. Now, I will explain the experience that helped me understand more about my field of specialization. SOXO is an organization that guarantees the social protection of employees, or in other words, SOXO is insurance. Through this industrial training, I have better understood what is insurance is. Through what is insurance is through this industry training, uh, I can understand more about insurance and how it is implemented. Uh, Basically, in Islamic economy, we always refer insurance as takaful. But in my observation, SOXO is more like Islamic system-based protection because the price of protection provided is lower than some takaful and insurance organization. However, SOXO is still considered as conventional because there is no Sharia panel, and this panel plays an important role if an organizational want to be implemented under the Islamic system. Besides that, I also learned directly about CSR or corporate social responsibility, the subtopic that I have studied before. SOCSO will do CSR by providing various donation which commonly refer as carrying box or kotak prihatin. Next, I learned more about social networking and how it helped the country's economic flow. Although SOCSO is a protection organization, they have a lot of cooperation with other agencies or firms. For example, SOCSO will work with hospital, medical provider, private rehabilitation center, and more. Through this cooperation, there is always demand and supply, and this will involve the flow of money from one party to another. So, next I will present the challenges that I faced during the internship and ways to overcome the problem. The first one is the relatively remote industrial training location. The journey from home to a remote industrial training location, followed by several traffic jam, made it difficult for me to arrive early. Not only that, I also relied on public transportation, especially Grab, which cost of going to industrial training will be expensive. So the solution for this problem is that I will prepare myself early every day, to make sure that I don't get late, and I will take public bus every time I go home because the public fare is more cheaper than using Grab. So it will reduce a little bit costs for me during this whole internship. Next, there is, like I mentioned before, there is no specific job or system for industrial training student. The system or work meant to be work that can provide add value to industrial training student. There will be a time when us as a intern does not have any job, resulting in less new knowledge for us. Students need to find their own jobs by coming themselves to meet other employees to get a job or reading on the organization's related website. So moving on to the next slide, which is my self-reflections. I admit that industrial training teaches a lot of new things and value related to the real world of work. The real world of work requires employee to be responsible with the job earned. Through this industry training, I learned the nature of wanting to learn is important, and it is necessary to teach ourselves to adapt to the working situation in an organization. In addition, about time management, it is very important when working in an organization because the working time has been set not only for time to enter the office but also the time to process cases obtained. In addition, I learned that the success of organization also depend on a positive environment. And this include a clean workplace area, complete facilities, and most importantly, relationship among other employees. Next, this is the readiness for me to face the working environment. The first one is time management. Always be prepared to adapt and don't be ashamed to ask from senior employees, so the mistake can be minimized, and always eager to learn. And the last one is apply the right value work ethic, such as integrity and so on. So this is the suggestion to improve this internship course, which is the first one is provide specific system and job for industrial training student. Second is to provide a complete description for the organization as soon as the industrial training student report for duty. And the last one is provide more opportunities for industry students to follow out of office programs implemented by the organization. That's all for the internship report. Now I will start to present my mini research. And the title of my mini research is The Advantages of Return to Work Program to Injured Person in Sokso Sabah. So the introduction for my mini research is RTW is a disability management program implemented by SOCSO to help contributors who are injured or suffering from illness to recover and return to work earlier, safety and safe. RTW program was introduced in 2007 for injured persons suffering from employment injury or claiming to be invalid. This program is provided for the injured person who suffer from employment injury and requires rehabilitation, suffers from employment injury and requires rehabilitation assistance in job research. Next, there are two objectives for my mini research. The first one is to identify the advantages of the RTW program to injured person in Sokso Sabah, and the second one is to analyze the process implemented in resolving cases under RTW program. So the methodology that I use in this mini research is qualitative method and secondary data. For the qualitative method, I interview SOCSO officer who work under RTW program to collect data. And for the secondary data, I collected various data from articles, journal, concrete books, and internet research that are still suitable and relevant. Now I will explain about the result and discussion for this mini research. This is for the first objective. The advantages of RTW program to injured person is helping them recover the source of income. With the RTW program, injured person can receive various effective treatments such as rehabilitation or receive orthopedic assistance or spare part. Through this treatment and support tools, the injured person are able to rework again and regain their source of income to cover the cost of living. Next advantages is reduced recovery time. In RTW program, the treatment provided under RTW program is very effective because the officer will always monitor the recovery process, whether it is effective or not. Besides that, SOCSO has partnership with private rehabilitation center in some areas to enable injured person to seek such treatment according to their respective area. Having an effective rehabilitation center guarantees more effective rehabilitation for injured person. The next one is employment guarantee. The officer who manages cases under RTW program is responsible to find employment for the injured person and injured person with the assistance of Eis Unit. Eis Unit is the employment insurance system. Now, next, RTW officer will also seek to negotiate with injured person or the employee to re-accept the injured person to work again. If there is no if the old work cannot be obtained to insured person, the RTW officer will look for another job in accordance of the health condition of the insured person. Through this effort of this RTW officer, it guarantees employment to the insured person. The last advantages is insured person can learn new skill. In the RTW program, there are number of training opportunity that can be given to the insured person to enable them to acquire new skills. All training provided is full borne by SOCSO, and this can reduce the financial burden of the insured person. When insured person learn new skill, they can open their own business or work of their own. All training provided. Among the common skill given to insured person are like sewing, pastry, culinary skills, and various vocational skills. Now moving on to the second objective, which is the process implemented in resolving cases under RTW program. The first step is to determine who is the eligible insured person. In this process, RTW officer will determine who is eligible insured person. The officer will analyze any eligible insured person under RTW program, but those who are eligible alone are not enough, as the objective of this program is to enable an insured person to be able to rework faster and recover process more effectively. In this case, the officer will ensure that insured person is eligible and have the motivation to work again. The second step is include references. For this process, the officer needs to ascertain the condition of health situation experienced by this person. This requires officers to make referrals through several systems and portals provided such as SICAP, Inspired, or require the insured person to come to SOCSO counter or officer to make a direct visit to the hospital to see directly the real situation experienced by the insured person. Next will be the case registration. Case registration will be done once insured person is qualified and motivated to work. These cases will be reported in a system called Disability Management System. Next, this is the most important step, which is the initial assessment. In this initial assessment, the RTW officer will visit the insured person according to agreement of both parties, which is in the hospital or at the insured person home. In this initial assessment, there are several forms that need to be filled in, such as personal information, background, limitation of health, employment that are desired if the person recovered and able to work again. And in the initial assessment, the officer will also look at the need of insured person to be supplied directly to them, so that the recovery process runs smoothly and help insured person better perform their daily routines, such as robotic hand or robotic legs. Next, help insured person looking for suitable job. RTW officer will work with SIP unit or Eis Unit, where this unit will help to find suitable employment for the insured person according to the situation or health condition experienced by the insured person. RTW officer also discuss directly with the employer regarding the health condition of the insured person, whether the employer can tolerate providing employment appropriate to the situation. In this process, the RTW officer will also discuss with the insured person or employer whether to allow the insured person to work again and what the scope of duties should be reduced in accordance with the insured person health condition. In this process, as RTW officer will try to find new jobs for insured person and discuss directly with the employee the issue of the insured person. Next is after that, there will be a workplace assessment. Once the insured person successfully obtain employment, the RTW officer will make an initial assessment for the insured person workplace. This assessment is intended to ensure that work performed by the insured person is not too heavy or does not re-affect the current health of the insured person. This monitoring will be done for a minimum of 3 months as long as the insured person is working again. The last step is closing of the case. If the assessment is complete and the new job suit the circumstance of the insured person, then the case will be closed. However, if the new job is not suitable for the insured person, then the steps from the looking for a suitable job will continue until the insured person obtain a new job that is suitable for the insured person health condition. So in conclusion, the RTW program is an important program that the public should be aware. The RTW program does indeed provide many advantages to the insured person as it focuses on rehabilitation, treatment, and allows the insured person to re-employ at an immediate rate. Through this process implemented in RTW program, we can see how RTW officer care about the welfare of the insured person. The improvement that need to be made by SOCSO in RTW program is to promote this RTW program for an early stage by giving special talk to students who will finish school, such as Form 5 student or university student. This is the references that I use for my mini research, and that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. I have questions, and your friend Norani also can ask question to her.
Hello, sir.
This is all.
You are unmute right now.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation, and
Doctor?
yes, can you hear me?
Dengar tak? Doctor, we cannot hear you.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation. Um, I have questions, and also Noraini can ask questions to you as well. So, uh, number one that I want to ask about the lessons that you picked up uh, from this industrial training over there. You explained already lessons from a specific item that you learn there, like the system. Uh, but now I want you to focus on in explaining to me what if there's any uh, theory that you study anytime during your study at UKM from year one until today. Was there anything that the theory teaches you related to what you did or what you've done at Pekeso Dep? And how does it different? How is it different between the theory and reality over there, reality in the real world? Uh, so that's number one question. Number two, what are the personal uh, lessons that you learn that you picked up from this industrial training? That's number two. And so I stop at that first. Two questions. After this, I'm gonna ask about the mini report. Okay, go ahead.
For the first question you asked, the theory, right, about that I study
Yep.
in university. I think the theory, actually, I'm majoring in Islamic economics. So, to be honest, there's a little theory lah, maybe that we can relate to SOXO, because uh, SOXO is insurance, and insurance is not a part of my study, but in Islamic economic we always learn about conventional and Islamic base, means that the theory of the theory of Islamic base for insurance is always refers as takaful, right? There is no riba, there is no garar. So, but for SOXO, I can understood more about insurance here. Like I can compare between the conventional insurance and the Islamic insurance, where
Okay.
SOXO is
Yeah.
uh,
Compare it now. Tell us right now
uh,
the difference because
the different, right?
yes. How? Yeah. Tell the difference. Okay.
The
SOXO and should
first,
be the what if
yeah,
takaful?
takaful.
Yeah. What's the
Mm,
difference?
SOXO use conventional base and takaful use Islamic base. For SOXO, there is no Sharia panel, where for takaful there is Sharia panel. Next, for the investment in SOXO, we never know if it's using Islamic system or not, because we don't know where they do their investment. Different with takaful. Takaful, we sure that the investment, every investment that they do is using the Islamic system. I
Uh,
think that's all that I
Sharia
can
compliance.
relate.
Mm. Yeah.
Sharia compliance. I think that's all that I can relate.
Channel and investment that
Investment.
with takaful investment, the money invested in
You,
the Sharia compliant companies only. So I'm
yes.
still searching for more answer. Is there any other difference that is
Any
could
other
be
diff?
like how the those who participate in this insurance takaful or I mean SOXO, how they get the benefit.
Uh,
I want to know the conventional compared with the Islamic takaful. How is the benefit uh, being granted to the participant? Is there any
for
difference?
that, actually, I already mentioned about it before. SOXO is uh, mostly like Islamic system, Sharia compliance, because there is the rate of payment contribution is lower than others insurance, and
But
it
that
lower
doesn't mean
than,
it is Islamic. Lower
yes, it
does
Islamic.
not
It's
mean
still
it is
conventional,
Islamic.
because
Yeah. Perhaps other
yeah, it's
things,
still
how they give out the benefit, how they charge, how
uh,
they give out the benefit. I'm asking you because I don't know.
I
Mm.
think the difference is for SOXO, the payment is based on wages, salary, which for example, 1,200, there will be a rate which is 13 ringgit or 23 ringgit something. But for takaful, there is a permanent rate. Means that the permanent rate is like every salary there will be one rate that given by takaful. That is the
That
different
rate
lah
is
for
the takaful
payment
for the
contribution.
for the takaful one. That flat rate same for everyone. What
Yes.
is based on? Based on the injury or based on what? Based on the cost of.
I think it's based on the scheme
I mean,
scheme like
takaful. I'm talking
life
about
life
takaful.
insurance. Yeah, I mean the takaful,
Yeah.
the rate given is also based on the scheme they provided, such
Oh,
as life insurance. So the the life insurance will be they have a permanent rate for that. But for SOCSO, there is no such thing. They always refer to the salary only.
so the higher the salary, what they get? They get back more.
The For SOCSO, the higher salary, then higher contribution should be made by the insured person.
And they get more benefit, higher payment.
Yes, they have their own calculate forms.
So actually, the poorer should be helped much more. Those who are poor, lower salary. Islamically, those who have a lower salary must be reimbursed more because they are poor. I mean, lower salary. Why with the rich ones?
Yeah, but
So
the system is we are not the one who made the system, right? So we just follow the system
those who
that
are low
provide.
salary, they it's a big issue for them, big um, expenditure for them to pay back whatever medical. For those who are high salary, it's not much. I mean, the, the burden is less for them
Yes,
financially.
yes, that's
It's a
true.
big burden for the
I agree.
poor, for the low salary. So that is something that we should think about to give more justice uh, to the workers. Uh,
Yes, there is
yeah,
still a room of improvement lah for this. Maybe in the future, doctor, you can suggest it.
yeah.
Okay,
That can
next,
come
I will
from
answer
contribution
the.
of other contribution from uh, the government part will take care of the those lower salary scale. They will top up by the government maybe. Mm, yeah. Okay, your second question that
Okay, doctor.
you asked.
Now, can I answer the second question?
Yeah.
The second question you asked is about what I learned during my internship, right?
Mm. On your
Uh,
personal level, what you learned.
uh, mm, Personal. Actually, I have experience working in other organization, and one thing that I think most important is how we adapt to uh, to our environment, organization environment. Because I think if you feel comfortable in one organization, then you can working last at the organization. So I think the important lesson is you have to adapt with the environment of your organization. You should learn to adapt. Second, I think about maybe communication skill. Uh, if you're working, means you have to communicate with other people. I'm not an introvert personality. I think I'm in introvert as well. So I need to communicate with other people. I and I think that is the challenges that I have to face and resolve it by myself.
Yeah.
So I need to learn
What
the
kind of
communication skill.
difficulty in communication that you feel that you have? What kind of difficulty?
What kind of difficulty? Uh, maybe when asking for help, asking for help or asking for something we don't know, like when we use system, like I feel uncomfortable to ask how to use the system. But during this internship, I learned like how to calm myself to them to ask something. That is the difficulty. I think lah.
So, what you do? You just when it just do it. Is that what you did? Just do it. Do not
Yes,
think about
yeah. I just do it.
yeah.
Do,
Okay.
I like I don't want to feel ashamed when
Okay.
asking anything with other employees.
Okay.
Like I try to communicate even I'm shy.
Okay. The two. What other things? Other personal thing that you learn? There's only two you mentioned. One more or two more?
Mm, uh, I think about integrity,
Hmm.
like you're working in organizations mean you are being paid, you get the salary. So integrity in doing your job means you have to perform your task carefully. You have to complete it before deadline. That is the integrity, because like some employees are still lack of integrity based on my experience working in other organization lah, I mean.
Previously. Um, what about directions? Instructions. Arahan. Arahan. What do you think about? Do you have any comment on that?
On what's instruction for what?
Instructions of what you do. You must do this. Your scope and your task.
Ah,
Yeah.
overall the instruction given is okay, and I can accept everything because actually there's a time that we don't have work. So every time they give us a job or task, I will be happy to accept it. Like I don't have any complaint. I love to do it. And I eager to learn something new.
Yeah. That's what I want to touch on. Which I will touch again. Perhaps I'll put that in the at the end. Um, the third part that you mentioned, which I'll state that at the end of our meeting today, when during presentation on Noraini. After this, then I combine together the two. Now let's go to the other thing, other personal thing that you learned. One more thing.
So far, that's all, doctor.
Okay. Okay. On your mini paper, return to work. I think.
Yes,
Uh,
written.
what is the most difficult step among the steps that you show us? You know that there's a here, there, and then a box like that.
Ah,
Which one is the most
Uh,
difficult step and
uh,
why?
for that, actually, I already have in my mind the most difficult step. I think the initial assessment. For the initial assessment, actually,
Oh,
it's not
why?
easy
Mhm.
because the RTW officer need to visit insured person, and if you know the geography of Sabah, there's a difficult location that we have to go. Like
Okay.
like we have
Put aside
to.
the geography. Put aside geography as a problem. What is the biggest,
Uh,
the real reason for that being a difficult step? Uh, Aside,
uh,
geography aside.
okay. Uh, it's not easy to make insured person to be honest with you. Means
To
like
be
every
what?
time we ask, when we ask something like there's
Mm.
a form that we have to fill in like a background, like your motivation to work, the scale 1 to 10, and it's not easy for us to question the insured person whether they really have motivated to work or not, because sometimes they only want the benefit of RTW, but they don't want to work.
Okay.
That is, I think, the
That's very
difference.
important point you just made. You did not mention in
Ah,
your presentation. I think this is very interesting finding that you must highlight. Many people want to get the money
yeah.
just to get the benefit, not the solution. The solution is benefit plus can go back to work. So I think that's not accidentally what it is. Unintentionally, I picked up or you mentioned during a Q&A. So that's a you can make a study on that actually. The real intention of the those people who apply for back to work program, they really want to be going back to work or just want to get the money, you know? Yeah. Anyway, so you're right. The first step is the most difficult, and I can tell you what I learned from my undergraduate study. I took one course in planning. The first step, there are 10 steps in planning. uh, Problem identification, and then I forgot the 10th step. Finally, the last 10th step is monitoring, and in between, you problem identification number one, number two, you go to the field, number three, and so on, assessment, everything. Uh, so number one step number one is the most difficult, which is problem identification. You want to identify the real problem. You want to diagnose the problem. Like a doctor, the first step is the most difficult, to diagnose what you have, what disease you have. If wrong diagnosis, wrong medicine, and that can be harmful, right? So anyway, just to share with you, you're correct. So what about the process? Is it easy to get cooperation with other agencies or even the participant itself? Is there any difficulty that you think there is a missing link or something in the steps there? I don't know. How long does it take the whole process? Is there any weaknesses there, uh, missing link or whatever that makes the process inefficient? I don't know. You have to explain to me. I want to know what. is a good, efficient process of RTW, return to work, compared with the one that which is having a problem. Where is the problem? Okay, to you.
Uh, Actually, the whole process is not easy.
Mm.
Yes, I admit that it's not easy. I already asked the officer whether it's easy or not. But actually, it's not easy because it took years to resolve the cases. Because the first problem is RTW officer. They need to wait until the insured person recovery. Like if they want to work again, they need to wait until the person recover, and then they will go working again. I asked, I when I interviewed the RTW officer, they said this the longest cases they manage is maybe 5 years to 6 years, because I think the second problem is it's not easy to find employment for them actually, because we need to negotiate with the employer whether they want to accept or not the condition of their employees. Like I don't think they want to just accept them without any productive, like a productive person, right? They want as employees that can be benefit them and get them more profit. So that is the challenges lah for
Okay,
this, the
maybe
whole process.
yes, maybe Sokso, okay, so can have, okay, can have a support, can give a support to the company for the first 6 months. We pay half, and you pay half, and maybe it's that maybe 6 months, not 3 months, or like that. For the first 3 months, Sokso will pay half, and you, the company, will pay half. And if you think that's okay after 3 months, he's working well, now you pay everything, new salary.
uh,
Is there some kind of,
that's maybe can
yeah, can suggest?
that's maybe can be a new suggestion, but actually for the work, Soxo has partnership with various company actually. That's make it more easier for them to looking employment, because in EIS
Mm.
system, like I mentioned before, employment insurance system, that is the partnership between SOXO and other companies. So it easier lah for the officer to negotiate with other company. But for the like doctor said before, like we 3 months we support the salary, but there's no such thing yet. But maybe it can be the
Suggested
improvement lah, or suggest, yes, suggest,
half and half, 50-50 first 3 months.
yes,
If
yes.
he works okay, okay, take him as permanent again. Any other thing that you want to add? I think I'm gonna call Noraini for the presentation.
I,
Anything that
so
else that you want to add?
far so far there's no edit things, I think, because Aini is waiting already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You see, we get,
that's all for me.
yeah, we get two interesting points during Q&A.
Yeah.
The one that I mentioned earlier, the intention of those who want to, who enroll in this program. They just want to get money, or what?
Or,
And number
yeah.
two, how how to solve the problem of they getting a job. I think that's a big problem. Another part. The first one,
Yeah.
the front, to identify them, the who is the injured, when it can eligible. And the last one is also a big problem, to get them a job. So in the middle, okay. So thank you, and let's call upon Noraini. Now your turn.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, doctor. Can you
Yeah, I can hear you.
see my screen?
Waiting. They're still waiting.
Okay. Let me just start to present,
Yeah, yeah.
doctor.
Yeah, you can start. Yeah, I can see the
Okay.
screen.
Can you see my screen,
Yeah,
doctor?
yeah. Okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. I greet to Dr. Muhammad Shukri. So today, my presentation also consists of two parts, which is the first one will be my internship. You can see right now, doctor.
Mm. Yes.
Okay. The first part. Okay, the first part will be my internship report at Social Security Organization, SOCSO Sabah, and the second one also be my mini research that I have done which related to SOCSO. So my name is Norni binti Abdurrahman and my metric number is A176560. So I'm taking course in economics with the major in monetary and fiscal economics. So I've started my internship in SOCSO Sabah since March 21st until July 21st. And I was placed in all units in SOCSO Sabah, which started from administration unit, return to work, benefits and recovery, finance, employment insurance system, and also the last one will be enforcement. Okay. So here's a brief information about SOCSO. SOCSO was established on 1971 under the Ministry of Human Resources to administer, implement, and enforce the Employee Social Security Act 1969. It applying a concept of joint responsibility, which is achieved through the pooling of resources, sharing of risk, and replacement of income. So basically, SOCSO actually they provide social security protection to employees and their dependents through these two schemes that we call as employment injury scheme and the invalidity scheme. So the vision is to be outstanding, comprehensive, and dynamic leader in social security, while the mission is to provide comprehensive social security protection from cradle to the grave for the well-being of all. So in Sabah, there are 8 branches in total, other than in Kota Kinabalu. SOCSO Sabah also located in Labuan, Keningau, Lat Datu, Tawau, Sandakan, Kota Marudu, and also Beaufort. So here's the organizational chart for SOCSO Sabah. There are 5 units in total, which I've mentioned before, and there are 91 staff, and the director is on top of this organizational chart. For the SOCSO's core activities, each unit they carried out different activities which require specific skill and knowledge. So basically, administration is they manage customer service and handle official business with SOCSO with other parties or agencies, while enforcement is one of the critical unit that we have in SOCSO because it is related to contribution collection and register employees or employees. So one of the program that they have done is Ops Kesan, where the officers in enforcement unit they will go to the targeted company and will review their contribution. So if the employers didn't pay their employees' contribution, they will issue the compound. Next, in finance, they basically monitor the financial record of SOCSO, while in benefits also, same like enforcement, it is one of the critical unit because they manage all the claims made by the insured person. And the last one is EIS unit. EIS unit is actually a new unit that was established on 2017. It is basically related to job search assistant. So they have done programs like career gig and other many other career carnival. For the organizational work structure, they adhere to the core principles of public service. So SOCSO adapts culture of integrity and team spirit, and they also hold into 5 values that we call as 5 nilai teras bersama, which is committed, synergistic, transformative, caring, and reliable. And the last one is they also hold into the S4P moral values, which stands for senyum, sapa, salam, santun, and prihatin. So during my internship for 4 months in Soksok Sabah, I have observed some advantages and disadvantages. So let me start with the advantages first. The first one will be positive working environment, where I realized that there is a very strong employee bonding since every units in Soksok Sabah here are related to each other. So they need to work in group and they need to work in group and rely to each other. Second is complete facilities in Sokso Sabah. They have many facilities like they have spacious mosque, they have cafe, pantry, a mini shop, and also the right number of toilets. Next, safe work environment. I realized that if any potential hazard, they will be taken notice immediately. For example, like if they notice that the lamp is broken, so they will call the maintenance to come and fix it before any workplace injury occur. Next is flexible time to choose the start and end of their working time. Next is punctuality at work. As my observation, I realized that most of the employees here arrive on time to work. And the last one is the strategic location. Sokso Sabah is located at Tanjung Aru, so it is very near to the city and it was surrounded by public facilities like hospital, bank, and also the first one will be the insufficient workforce in some units, especially in busier units like benefits and recovery. So because of this problem, it will cause a slow progression of handling the insured person cases. Second, no special room for staff to take a break. I'm saying this because some employees might feel overwhelmed because of the workload, so they might need some time to rest or take a break. But unfortunately, also Sabah, they do not provide any special room for their staff to take a break. So it also shows the lack awareness of the mental health among the employees here in the works. And the last one here, systems used are not completely up to date. I'm saying this because during my internship here, the telephone for the customer service took a lot of time to fix since it still use the old version old version for the system. Next for the learning outcomes. Let me start with the administration unit first. So I was given a brief introduction about SOXO and learn some basic office works like photocopying, scanning, filing, and making official letters to employees and employers. And I also have communicated with customers through phone calls at the customer service and also learn about one of the system here, which we call as Percaso Assist Portal. In finance unit, I help the officer updating, managing, and compiling the payment voucher made to the insured person or their beneficiaries and made filing for the latest claim documents made by insured person. And when I was in return to work unit, I have joined the officers there to visit insured person to an investigation as an initial assessment before furthering to the next procedures and also have managed the invoices of the insured person. During in benefits and recovery unit, I have joined the officers to in preparation of distribution and also visited few insured persons home to deliver some basic needs assistance, and I also stamped the claim form made by
I cannot hear you. I Cannot hear you.
So I have to do the correction and inform the officers the error. Next, I also have assisted self-employed persons to register and make contribution payment under the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme and join apprenticeship scheme promoting SESSS and also updated activities and contribution collection for the social self-employment social security scheme and also help the officers here to update the employee status and also payment for their EIS contribution and also was given the opportunity to join the behind the scene management procedures live work for the social self-employment social security scheme. So here are the few objectives that internship objectives that I have achieved. The first one is professional communication. I've learned how to speak in professional setting. Second, connections and networking. I have tried to involve myself in engaging informal and informal conversation for pre-record purpose. Third, becoming data fluent. I have worked with large number of data, especially when I was in the enforcement unit. Fourth, independence. I have carried out tasks and responsibilities without being spoon-fed all the time by the officers here. Fifth, exposure to the real working environment. Again, with my internship in actually buying the stuff and so it means that so in conclusion, for this reflection, I should be very through the contribution and as a free employee, to get the also and by undergoing the internship, it provides me opportunity for open and strong maintaining a positive attitude at work is important as I look more confident in activities, physically and mentally. So I need to set a positive mindset, keep expectations realistic, and always finding a balance between home life and working life. So here is my suggestion to improve internship course. So Sabah should be stricter in accepting students' application to undergo internship so that in the future they will only accept a student that background related. So that's for my internship report. So I will continue to present my mini result. That and time of the contribution paid and related to the receipt of payment. So in starting for to 19 architecture, which means that since its establishment on 2017, only the sector of education we lead to lack of program to be awareness about the program. I think the officers in enforcement also have their own job scope. So when we can only pass the information to the employee also to this also objective to increase awareness to all the 7% of so that more people will come to and contribute. So in conclusion, this team that is on company was a special protection provided to 7% since they are exposed to various risks. So with the introduction of this team, it is hoped that more 7% to contribute that they don't miss out on getting special protection from society and other influence. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, similar questions from one.
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Okay. The question from part one. What have you learned in terms of personal?
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Okay, from part one, what have you learned on personal notes from this?
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me? You hear me? Can you hear me? Can you okay. From the okay. What have
No, I cannot hear you.
what have you learned? What you learn from your what you learn in
Okay. 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 What is that? So the first one would be transformation skills because before this I don't really talk to people and especially during pandemics I was shy so I didn't go out and people before started I was a little scared and anxious because I need to meet a lot of people but fortunately during my 4 months so I have overcome my I have overcome uh, I have overcome this feeling the feelings of scared to talk to people so um, in so every day we I have met new intense friends here and I have communicate frequently with other officers so that is one of the most important value that I've learned during SOCSO during my internship in SOCSO. Second one is about SOCSO because before this even before I apply my internship here in SOCSO I don't have any idea what SOCSO is all about. So by undergoing my internship here, I know about the schemes that they provide in SOCSO, like how was the process to to claim your to claim the benefits SOCSO, which is more to social protection and the right as an employee that you can claim from SOCSO. I think that's all, Doctor.
what are other I want to listen more. Okay, let me go back to the